There was a risk involved in allowing Chip to have that kind of say over player transactions.
I don't respect Chip Kelly. You could talk to anybody that was ever a Philadelphia Eagle fan, bro, and they'll tell you the same thing. He dismantled that team, bro. There was no way you get rid of a Deshaun Jackson, a LaShawn McCoy, a Michael Vick, a Jeremy Maclin.
Fans are sounding off, and they're doing it passionately.
Chip Kelly deserved to be fired. He destroyed our team, got rid of our best players like LaShawn McCoy. He deserved it from day one.
I wanted to make Chip accountable for everything he wanted to have happen.
And that was the first time I ever been, it was like, yo, you're not good enough. We don't want you. And I was like, is it my football?
One of the ways to make him accountable was to have him make those decisions.
Bro, I led the league in rushing the year before, all pro, right? First team and all that. The next year, dog, I was third in rushing. He said I had a decline year. So I'm saying, well, dog, you get rid of Deshaun, so like the team is gonna be on me now,
the box.
right? So then I'm like, okay, so now you tell me you want to trade me? You must don't think I'm that good.
Yeah.
That is what he insisted on decisively doing. If you want to make those decisions, be accountable for them.
Word of Kelly's firing spread fast among Eagles Nation tonight. Eyewitness News reporter David Spunt has been talking with fans about the change at the top of the team, and he is live.
So it's like, you take food off my table. You know what I'm saying? Like, how would you feel if I took food off your table? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you did. And that shit was coward as hell, bro. And I just don't respect you. And if I seen you, I probably I'm gonna be real.
The Philadelphia Eagles are known for several things, and despite being known as one of the most well-run organizations across sports, their passionate fan base who refuses to accept anything other than winning is at the forefront. And while they rank third among all NFL franchises in playoff wins since the turn of the century, there's a dark stain on the team's history, a time that many refer to as the Chip Kelly era. After two back-to-back 10-6 seasons, Chip Kelly dismantled one of the most exciting offenses the league had ever seen. So the question remains, can we fix his mistakes? This Madden 24 franchise series is going to be all about second chances. We're going to be using the 2015-2016 mod made by WeMaster to travel back in time in Madden 24 to the start of the 2015 NFL season. We're going to be using powerful modding tools and draft classes to undo the damage that Chip Kelly did to this team, and then we're going to see if we can build a contender that can compete for a Super Bowl. Powerful adversaries remain in the NFC, however. We'll have to go up against the likes of the Legion of Boom and the immortal Cam Newton, not to mention the living legend at his best, Aaron Rodgers. In the AFC, we have the honored Tom Brady, who has no equals, and he's still going toe-to-toe with Peyton Manning, a legend who the game has passed by. Oh, and don't forget, we've got up-and-coming new talent around the league as well, and with modded progression tools that provide dynamic progression, who knows who the next face of the NFL will be. I know I said it before, but I want to give a special thanks to WeMaster for creating this mod and all of the attention to detail in rosters and accessories and stadiums. I'd also like to thank Sabo for the franchise mod that adds an incredible amount of polish and additional features, and of course, I want to thank the Bleeding Red, aka TBR, for his incredible franchise tool that we'll be using for our transactions and our progression system. Now, while a lot of you have been asking for a video series like this from me, I've never actually done a video like this before. So if you do like the content and would like to see more, let me know by pressing the like button. And be sure to subscribe if you deem the content worthy. And of course, if there's anything, anywhere I can do to improve this type of video, let me know in the comments section below. Alright, now that we've set the stage, let's take a look at the Eagles and the changes that need to be made going into the season. The first of which is obvious, firing Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's going to be replaced by a lifelong Philadelphia sports fan. That's right, it's yours truly, Shady Mike. Me and my staff, and that's everyone that was on the stream, will be looking to rebuild this team from the ground up, and that's with three main goals in mind. First, and most importantly, we want to energize the fan base. We're going to do that by getting rid of the major signings made by Chip Kelly and trying our best to bring back fan favorite players. Number two, we want to control the clock with a dominant run game, ideally with a mobile quarterback. This will guide our actions going forward, considering we need a quarterback, but the top few prospects in this year's upcoming draft are not very mobile, those being Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Third and finally, we want to terrorize opposing quarterbacks and build this team from the inside out. The offensive and defensive line has always been a strength of the Eagles, and that's going to be a philosophy we continue to follow. Now that we know the plan, let's get to work on some of the moves. At quarterback, Chip Kelly made waves when he traded for 71 overall Sam Bradford. Now, that overall may seem low, but the overall ratings in this mod are generally lower than those of the base game. But with that being said, he's still a bottom 20 ranked quarterback, so we decided to ship him off. I figured if I'm going to have a low overall quarterback, we might as well have one that fits our system and is mobile. We decided to send him back to the Rams, where despite his low overall, he would still be the highest overall rated quarterback, and the compensation we received in return was a 5th round pick. At this point, Michael Vick is 35 years old and a backup in Pittsburgh. So I sent a 54 overall wide receiver and a 66 overall reserve guard to Pittsburgh for the 63 overall quarterback. That's right, we're going to be starting a 63 overall Mike Vick. Now for the hard part. How on earth do we trade for 93 overall LeSean McCoy? Well, turns out it wasn't really that hard. Because of his age and his contract, the Bills did not value LeSean McCoy very highly. At running back, Chip Kelly made waves for the Eagles when he signed Cowboys star back DeMarco Murray. This coming a few weeks after we traded LeSean McCoy to the Bills for their up-and-coming star linebacker who's pretty young, Kiko Alonso. DeMarco Murray was coming off a career year where he had an astounding 1,800 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. So when I packaged DeMarco Murray with Kiko Alonso, the player they traded me in the first place, they accepted. With 2 of the 3 core pieces back together in Michael Vick and LeSean McCoy, the final piece we had to acquire was Deshaun Jackson. By this time, Jackson has been gone 2 years as he was released by the Eagles due to unfounded rumors of gang affiliation. In the prior year, Deshaun Jackson with the Washington Redskins amassed 1,200 yards receiving, averaging 21 yards per reception. By this time in his career, he has established himself as a premier vertical threat. At this time, me and my staff figured this would be a great time to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can get an elite receiver back and dump some of the questionable contracts Chip Kelly doled out while heightening fan morale due to the return of Djax. Since he's a wide receiver, the first player I wanted to include in the trade was the infamous Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper seemed like a good guy. I met him in person in real life and he was very friendly. In the previous season, Cooper caught 47 passes for 835 yards and 8 touchdowns and had just signed a 5-year, $25 million deal. However, that offseason, he was unfortunately caught on camera using a racial slur. This unfortunate development made both the fan base and the locker room turn on him, so I had to include him in the deal. The next major free agent signing that Chip Kelly made was cornerback Byron Maxwell. Byron Maxwell was considered one of the top free agent defensive backs due to coming from the Legion of Boom. The Eagles signed him to a 6-year, $63 million deal in hopes that he could anchor the defense and become a number 1 lockdown corner. Spoiler alert, he doesn't, and he's only a 72 overall. I'm sure you're already wondering, how will we get Washington to accept a deal like this when offering up so little? So for this deal, we definitely have to include some draft compensation. This is what the framework of the finalized deal ended up looking like. Going off to Washington would be Byron Maxwell, Riley Cooper, and my 3rd round pick in exchange for Deshaun Jackson, a 7th round pick, and a future 5th round pick. I'm not a huge fan of giving up draft capital in this situation when our team needs so much, but when you combine the fact that we get a fan favorite star player and get to get cap relief by moving these large contracts, I thought this was a great decision for our team. Now, with those major moves being done, let's go over the roster and see what this team is looking like. The plan for this year is, well, F it, let's see how it goes. We've got a 35-year-old, 63 overall quarterback, so maybe we'll surprise some people with our offensive weapons and the ground game, and if not, we'll look to acquire draft capital by selling at the deadline and trading back in the draft. So at quarterback, we've got Mike Vick, backed up by Tim Tebow, who we may want to put a package in or two for. At running back, we've got a dynamic duo of Darren Sproles and LaShawn McCoy, followed by a solid running back in Ryan Matthews. So we've got all three: 3rd down back in Sproles, main back in LaShawn, and a power back with Ryan Matthews. At wide receiver, we've got D-Jax, who we just acquired, and an 80 overall Jordan Matthews, who's only in his 2nd year. We've also got a young Nelson Aguilar, who we definitely hope develops. At tight end, we've got the solid Brent Selleck with a young bright star in Zach Ertz. The offensive line is solid with a 98 overall Jason Peters, the best left tackle in football right now, and the solid pieces along the line like Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. On the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line, we have a young superstar in Fletcher Cox, but we could definitely use some improvements at the other positions. Our linebackers, while solid, I felt needed some help. So because we shipped out Kiko Alonso in the LaShawn McCoy trade back, I decided to bring in a free agent, 86 overall, Lance Briggs. Remember him from the Bears? Well, yeah, he's pretty good, but at the age of 34, I mean, he may end up being a 1-year rental. We also have a young Jordan Hicks who we'd like to see develop, but we will see. Now, corner is where things get questionable. Our best corner is young Eric Rowe, who's a 74 overall. But take a look at this. During training camp, he actually showed plenty of flashes, and he performed so well that his dev trait actually got upgraded to a superstar X Factor. However, I was still concerned about our lack of depth and speed more specifically. So I brought in a free agent corner. His name is DeMarcus Van Dyke, a 26-year-old with 95 speed. At safety, we have the leader of our team, Malcolm Jenkins, who is very much in his prime, but that other safety spot leaves much to be desired. Okay guys, so that's the roster. It still needs work, but we are a work in progress. In our next episode, we'll be simming through the preseason. We'll be taking some media questions and playing our week 1 matchup against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. It's in Atlanta, so that'll be Mike Vick's homecoming to Atlanta. Tune in for episode 2 to see how it goes, or if you can't wait, just pull up to the stream. Guys, thanks for all the support. Make sure you like and subscribe on your way out. It's your boy Shady Mike. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm signing out. Peace. Grease.